After a long wait, No Man's Sky's version 2 update to Beyond has reached us. Yes folks, it brings VR and lots of other quality of life updates. Let's take a look. Hey, it's Ricardo and welcome back to No Man's Sky Beyond. As you can see, the No Man's Sky Beyond update is downloaded from GOG Games and will be able to be downloaded from your platform of choice as well. And you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to have some updates for us, and we're going to go through them today. Perhaps one of the most predominant updates that I think for quality of life within this update has got to be the No Man's Sky inventory slot capacity. Now this gets a slight bump from 250 to 10,000. We also learned from Sean Murray recently, just before the release, that Beyond will not reboot the universe and therefore will not mess up anything that you've constructed. So all your whizzy, fantastic, amazing bases that have been created by the community will still remain, which is absolutely fantastic. For example, in normal mode, and we're just going to go back and just talk about this inventory thing, which I think is absolutely stunning. Inventory slot capacity for resources has changed from 250 to 10,000. Oh my god, this is absolutely shocking. I think it's fantastic. You can carry more stuff and it makes sense. Now, we've all been here before with big updates, and we went through many iterations of the 1.x updates, especially when there was a relaunch, you could say, of No Man's Sky. And it's hardly surprising that not everything is really working as well as it could be managed with this update of being this big. Some of the issues are pretty serious. Some, though, however, could be a little bit minor. Some players have been experiencing a lot of crashes, the build, blue screen of death, just hanging, that sort of stuff. Other players, whilst notably entering areas like the Nexus, the brand new player hub where astronauts can hang out and socialise and queue up for multiplayer missions, have also been having a lot of crashes. So that's a good thing they've put in with this iteration of the game, and you know, it's being mired by bug crashes. It's a real big shame, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, when I went to the Nexus, it all went smoothly, although friends of mine who have also joined had their missions crash out as well. Even though they rejoined a couple of minutes later, they came back into the same spot. It does add that level of frustration when playing the game. There's been so much excitement within the community to candor people wanted to perhaps reinstall No Man's Sky, get back involved in it, learn those keys again, that something like this is going to mar the launch. And I think this is indicative of anything that comes out big, especially with games these days. You know, nothing is really a finished game. Yes, they can put all the patches in to fix this, and the experimental branch no doubt will be pinging off with all additional updates that people can get involved with, and we'll report on them here on this channel as well. But you know, it does sort of like mire the experience. So in the Nexus, screen freezing, crashing, there you go. But once you've got out of the Nexus area, it seemed to be okay, but not an awful lot of players could be seen spotted around in multiplayer mode. You know, I mean, again, crashes, they've happened as well when you go transition from your ship back to the planet, or that sort of thing. To be fair, it's unstable. Let's just say that. You know, it's unstable. Now, I can't personally comment on VR, because I haven't got a VR headset. However, I mean, I have been reading some of the Reddit articles as well, that sort of thing, that I've been saying that VR is proving to be a bit spotty for players as well, particularly, you know, if you're using the Valve Index. Multiple people have been reporting they can't see one of their hands while in VR, laggy performance, that sort of stuff. A number of issues, crashing, have been reported, again, whilst in the Nexus, at other times as well while using VR. So VR has not been as stable as what could be anticipated, and that's one of the major things for release that it's been touted for. You know, and that's a real shame. But do me a favour if you haven't already done so, click that like and subscribe button. A like and subscribe goes a long way, and then ring that notification bell, and that'll let you know when I'm putting more videos of video games, including No Man's Sky, Battlestar Galactica, Elite Dangerous, all that usual stuff on YouTube. Now, if you return to the game after a while, you may have forgotten what keys do what. Now, and you might think, no problem, I have a cunning plan for that, because I will go into the control options of No Man's Sky and also look at the controls there, and I will get a quick refresher. It'll all come flooding back like riding a bicycle. Unfortunately not. The keyboard controls are oddly blank. They are mapped and they do work, but on the menu screen, no key mapping is displayed, and there's no way currently to customize the key mapping at all. So that's a big fix that needs to be issued and resolved. There's also a few other issues being reported, like freighter storage rooms are completely inaccessible. Now, from what I've seen from Sean Murray's Twitter, there's going to be some patches sent to the experimental build, which once put through initial testing will then be rolled out. Hopefully they won't create more problems than what they've actually, they're trying to fix. So speaking of quality of life improvements, it's bereft of stability, but there are quality of life improvements, and we've already mentioned the huge amount of cargo that you can now carry. Okay, cargo capacity is up. So here's a little taster of what has been put into the quality of life improvements in No Man's Sky. So what have we got? Technology can now be moved after installation. They've added warp hypercores, a large hyperdrive fuel unit with 5 times the capacity of a regular warp cell, which is good stuff. Increased the base mining speed of the mining beam and added launch system recharger, a Starship upgrade that automatically recharges the launch thrusters over time. Oh my god, that is the thing for me. If there was nothing else, I can now die happy. Also in normal mode, allowed some planets to never spawn Sentinel drones. Yes, good old Sentinel drones. They've increased the base energy levels of the mining beam and the terrain manipulator, allowing for less frequent recharging. Again, quality of life. The mining beam now has much higher base heat capacity, added the option to remove buttons, holds and make all non-destructive clicks instant, and many graphic settings no longer require a restart to reply, although I think generally if you're doing a massive change in resolution, you may have to restart the game. Other things that have been improved: they've improved the UI for comparing and purchasing ships, multi-tools and freighters, which is good stuff. The galaxy map has been totally overhauled for clarity and visual style. Added new photo mode, although I couldn't quite get that to work. Increased the tolerance of trader ships participating in freighter battles, so they do not report friendly fire as a crime if you shoot them, by accident. Which to me was one of the biggest bugbears that I had the last time, accuracy. I think all men suffer from that. And also as well, what they've done, they've made butterflies and other flying creatures much easier to scan with the analysis visor, and added short-range teleporters, and these pads may be placed around your base and wired up to create a network of near-instant transportation. And that is all fantastic stuff. Now, as I mentioned, is stability. Stability is the thing with this build. Now, as I mentioned, Sean Murray has come out on Twitter and said, yes, there are some stuff going on in the experimental build. Some updates and patches have been put in there. Now, as regards for the deployment of patches to PlayStation and the Xbox consoles, you can expect a slight delay, because obviously that is outside the remit of other PC platforms, and that is always a little bit later than what PC users generally get. However, they are aware of the problems and they are acting on them, and you cannot fault Hello Games and the No Man's Sky team for not being totally committed to this game. Who would have thought it, that back 2016, many years ago, should we say, that a game would launch and take a hit so catastrophically and then bounce back after what was effectively a relaunch, now to be in version 2 of the iteration and still to be engaging players and still to be engaging its fan base. Nothing short of miraculous, I think, as well, and that entire team should be applauded. Talking a little bit about VR, Sean Murray has also come on record and said that he always wanted to bring the game to VR, and it does generally give the impression that it would lend itself completely to the VR experience. If only they can get it right and iron out those bugs that are inherent with it, then, it might be one of these killer applications that would allow the user community to start investing in the expensive VR hardware. Who knows? Anyway, that was a breakdown of the patches and the bug lists, I suppose, really, of what's been happening with the No Man's Sky Beyond. Version 2 release. Expect more updates on the updates and the hotfixes as they happen. I've been Ricardo. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the patch notes and what's been going on with No Man's Sky, as I have been playing it again and getting re-enthused with the product. Fly safe, build bases, and don't get sick in VR if you use it. See you soon.